Shalom. I'd like to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And shalom to you sincere, hopeful, elect brothers and sisters listening and learning, and to you brothers preaching and teaching this truth through the four corners of the earth. This is the brother Nathan, come out of the GMS Indianapolis camp. Coming back with a quick article. As if you've been in the know and paying attention, about the earthquake that happened a couple days ago, 7.7, that hit Myanmar and Thailand, right? And now the death toll's risen up to 1,644, right? This is as a resistance movement announces partial ceasefire because there's a civil war type deal going on in Myanmar. So they had to. So it's a lot of judgment in that area going on. Yahweh Shemel Shai is visiting these people, and jacking these other nations up. Because remember, all these nations have had a part in the downfall of the nation of Israel. Okay, with the captivity and then forward and affliction. All right, they all follow Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. All right. Like Psalms 83 says they're confederate against thee, right? All these other nations. All right, I'm going to read this. It says, a unilateral partial ceasefire to facilitate earthquake relief efforts was announced on Saturday by Myanmar's Shadow National Unity Government, which coordinates the popular struggle against the ruling military. The country's death toll from the disaster soared to 1,644. The figure was a sharp rise compared to the 1,002 announced just hours earlier, highlighting the difficulty of confirming casualties over a widespread region and the likelihood that the numbers will continue to grow from Friday's 7.7 magnitude quake. The number of injured increased to 3,408, while the missing figure rose to 139. This is the number of dead also rises in Thailand. In neighboring Thailand, death tolls rose to 17. The quake rocked the greater Bangkok area, home to around 17 million people, and other parts of the country. Many places in the north reported damage, but the only casualties reported in Bangkok. Of the death toll, 10 were killed in the high-rise building near famous Chatuchak market that collapsed, while the rest were killed in 7 other sites. Authorities in Bangkok said 83 people were unaccounted for. On Saturday, more heavy equipment was brought in to move the tons of rubble, but hope was fading among friends and relatives. Quotes, I was praying that they had survived, but when I got there and saw the ruin, where could they be? Said 45-year-old Naramal Thonglek, sobbing as she awaited the news about her partner, who is from Myanmar, and 5 friends who worked at the site. Yeah, so, hey, that was a major earthquake, 7.7. That ain't no joke. All right? So, you see, Lord is bringing out heavy judgment, man, on these people, man, every day. Right? Let's go get this Matthew 24, and I'll start with verse 3. It says, and he sat upon the Mount of Olives. The disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? And Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am a Mashiach, and shall deceive many. Right, and you've seen those people keep popping up that claim to be the Messiah. They claim to be, Yahweh Shai, right? All right, so that's happening. So that's part of knowing that we're at the end, that the Lord's getting ready to come back, right? Is that and ye shall, verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, right? And are we seeing that? Are we hearing about that? Right? It says, see that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. See, and that's the main thing. All these things have to happen in order for the end to happen. Our prophecy has to be fulfilled. Okay? And it says, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. And that's what you're seeing, right? Just like this in Myanmar, right? They're this battle of civil war, right? Now you got the earthquake on top of it, right? But you're seeing that what also around the world is, Russia, China. I mean, well, excuse me, let me say this. Russia versus Ukraine. You got China and Taiwan heating up. You got the so-called Palestinians and the Israelis, right? And the list goes on. All bringing in that World War III atmosphere, right? Sucky. And it says, and there shall be famines, all right, and pestilences, right? And we've seen famines taking part in the world, all right, and that's going to ultimately come here in America, Babylon the Great. Is what pestilences, right? I've been seeing diseases and stuff pop up, and here's the point. And earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. And here it is, another major earthquake. Just like it was either a year or two ago, Turkey had that major earthquake, killed over 30,000 people. All right, so that goes to show you that, hey, Yahweh Shema Shai is taking people out. All right, Yahweh Shema Shai is doing great work in the earth, man. And we want to be on the right side of it. All right, we want the Lord to protect us and be with us at all times. All right, especially when you see events like this. All right, you see the rubble. Look at that rubble from the collapse. Right, the people show some pictures. See, it's going down. It's Isaiah 29 and verse 6. It says, "Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder, and with earthquake, and great noise, with storm and tempest, in the flame of devouring fire." See, and that's what the Lord is doing. He's visiting. All right, especially seeing these earthquakes, right, and we're seeing these major storms. Tornadoes breaking loose. Hurricanes coming up. Like, Yahweh Shema Shai is visiting. Because what does it say in Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 5? It says, "The just Lord is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity." Why won't the Lord do iniquity? Because he's justified in all his judgments. If you do dirt, you get dirt. If you do good, you get good. All right. It says, "Every morning doth he bring his judgment to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame." See? So Yahweh Shema Shai is bringing out judgment every day. He said, every morning doth he bring his judgment to light. So it's going to happen. If the Lord wants you up out of there, all right, he wants to destroy you and take you out, it's going to happen. There ain't going to be no like Final Destination where you cheated death. No. You're doing everything according to the Lord's plan. That's why Proverbs 20 and 24 says what? Man's goings are of the Lord. How then can a man understand his own way? Here, let's get this. I won't make this too long. This is 2 Ezra chapter 9, verse 1. "He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself." And what do you measure with? The scriptures, the prophecies, right? That's how you know where we're at. Even though we don't know the day or the hour, but we know that we're at the end due to the signs and the times that we've been told, right? "And when thou seest part of the signs pass, right? So as we're seeing these things start to come to life, right, the scriptures, jumping right off the pages, right? We ought to be looking for Yahweh Shema Shah and getting right to the best of our ability. This is which I have told thee before. Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, see earthquakes, right? And like I said, earthquakes in diverse places, right? We just read that, and you're seeing that. You get your earthquake app, and that thing is constantly going off. Man, that ain't normal things. No, that's the Lord visiting. All right. Verse 4 says, Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. And that's what's happening. We're seeing the end of the end. Because we know the end time started when Yahweh Shai got put to death on the cross. But now we're at the end of the end. We're coming into the times of our deliverance and the fall of our enemies, starting with Esau, Edom, so-called white man. All right, and like I said, this is a great time to be alive, especially if you're in this truth, because you're actually seeing the prophecies come to life. All right, on a high level. All right, so we got a lot to look forward to. These are all faith boosters when we see these things happen across the world. So I didn't want to make that too long, but hey, Yahweh Shemel Shai is getting ready to come back. All right, so with that, I pray that was edifying to the elect. I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Slaki. Actually, I'm going to get one more scripture just popped in my head. Slaki. Let me get one more. This is Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 9. Excuse me, verse, jump ahead. Yep. This is Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 39. See, now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God with me. I kill, and I make alive. I wound, and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. Right. See, that's the balance of Yahweh Shemel Shai. Because he controls both good and evil. You read that in Isaiah 45 and 7. All right. But he's the one that kills. He's the one that heals. All right. He does everything. Right? So, hey, this is nothing but Yahweh Shemel Shai. All right, so we can't forget that. So with that, I pray this is edifying to the elect. I like to give all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Kwame